In November, the United States performs one of the strangest traditions, the presidential pardoning of a turkey, though it's usually 2 turkeys. This tradition officially started in 1989 under George H.W. Bush, but it has roots back to Abraham Lincoln, when his son, Tad, begged him to not kill their Thanksgiving turkey. Essentially what happens now is the National Federation gives the turkeys to the White House in a big media event, and the president pardons the turkeys. The turkeys are then sent to an animal sanctuary to live out the rest of their lives. So what's strange about this? Let's get into that. But first, if you like this video, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. The presidential pardoning of a turkey for Thanksgiving makes a mockery of the millions of turkeys exploited and murdered for this single day alone. That number is estimated to be around 46 million turkeys killed for a single day. And that's just in the United States. This day is, of course, Thanksgiving, a day where humans have the audacity to exploit sentient beings and then say, "Thanks, I appreciate what you provided for me." It's strange to address that we are saving these 2 turkeys from being killed, but then to do nothing about it for millions of other turkeys, to instead put on a purely performative media show. And it's not that people aren't making the connection with animals who won't be pardoned. It's that they don't care. It's a ritual that lets us celebrate saving 2 lives while slaughtering millions of others. Okay, and I'll admit this next part is pedantic, but even look at the word pardon. A pardon is given to someone who has committed a crime, and turkeys, obviously, have committed no crime. Turkeys, like all animals, are truly innocent beings. They aren't rescued from a crime, they're rescued from a cruel and exploitive industry. What's strange is that they are saving the turkeys from being killed by the very people, the National Turkey Federation, who gave them the turkeys to put on the show to save the turkeys. It's like, here, save these turkeys. Well, from who? Who's trying to kill them? Oh, we are. The whole thing is pretty strange. And I know this is just supposed to be a funny joke, the pardoning of a turkey, but it makes light of such a horrific reality that, and this is the most important aspect, a vast majority of people actively participate in. And this pardon obviously doesn't cover all turkeys. If it did, I certainly wouldn't be complaining about word usage. Now, it's not like any of this is offensive to turkeys. I assume they and any non-human animal on Earth can't understand this whole concept. So why am I complaining about it? Because fuck humans, that's why. I just wanted to rant about something that is just so optically stupid. And I don't even think this is an example of hypocrisy or cognitive dissonance, because it's purely performative. It's a joke, an empty gesture that's not even meant to be a gesture. And don't get me wrong, I'm not calling for this tradition to stop. I want the 2 turkeys to be saved. I'm just hoping that one day we will have a truly progressive president who uses this tradition as a moment to legitimately address the issue rather than making a mockery of it. Unfortunately, I believe we're very far from that. Before I said that people don't actually care about turkeys, but I don't think that's fully accurate. I bet if one of these pardoned turkeys was yanked out of the sanctuary and then put back in the factory farm, there would be a moral outrage. This is just speculation though, but this has something to do with both the scaling problem in human brains and the petification status of certain animals. The scaling problem in the human context is when you tell people about an individual human who's going through some hardship, and their concern for this single person is far greater than 100 people with the same hardship. The higher you scale up the number of people, the less we have concern for them. This probably has something to do with futility. We can manage the hardships of 1 person, but 1 million? This is sometimes called compassion fade, and I imagine the same concept applies to animals. This problem is made even worse, though, when people are the ones actively creating the hardships, like in the animal context. The other reason why I think people would be outraged in that context is the petification. Once we give these turkeys a cute name and put them on stage, we start to see them for what they are, individual sentient beings. They gain the same status that we grant pets. Now, I can't end the video without mentioning a final, very important detail, and this is that these pardoned turkeys don't live a good life after the pardoning. So many of them die due to health problems within a year. This is due to the way they are bred. They're not bred to live a long life. They're bred to grow as fast as possible. And this causes a lot of health problems. This is the unfortunate reality of so many animals that are rescued from the animal agriculture industry. And this is why, though so important, saving turkeys doesn't really solve the problem, and this should have never happened in the first place. We need to stop breeding these animals, and by going vegan, you lower the demand, and thus less animals come into this terrible existence. If enough people make this compassionate choice, we can finally put an end to animal agriculture, and that would give us something far deeper to be thankful for.